Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gloria and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today I wanted to unfortunately show you guys a few plants that are not doing too hot in Leca and just I'm struggling a little bit with them. So hope you guys find today's video helpful or somewhat entertaining or informative in one way or another. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. And yeah, let's just jump right into today's video. Okay, so I have, how many plants do I have? I have 6 plants that I want to show you guys today. A lot of them are Hoyas, some of them are others. The first one I want to show you guys is my Hoya PACHYCLADA. So this is the beautiful, kind of fuzzy, cute, and slightly veiny Hoya. Mainly the flowers are really pretty in this Hoya, but I do really enjoy the foliage because of the fuzz. I'm such a sucker for fuzzy leaves, and the one thing about this Hoya is that it's really hard to root. So I would say if you were to buy this as an unrooted cutting, don't do it because it took so long for this plant to root for me, and I honestly lost quite a few leaves when I transferred it from soil to Leca, and it had to essentially regrow all of its roots, and it took so long, and it still hasn't put out any new leaf whatsoever. So there's no growth point, no leaf, and it's just not doing too great. Although I'm pretty sure it's rooted because the leaves are not like super flimsy anymore, but like I don't see any roots peeking out, I don't see any signs of growing, and I don't know, like this plant is probably just like not very beginner friendly, or I'm just struggling with it myself. I don't know if you guys have the same problem. It's causing too much trouble for me, and I don't know if I want to keep this plant. It's taking up time and care, and I don't like it when plants are just like not doing too great, if you guys know what I mean. But for now, I still will be keeping this PACHYCLADA in my collection. And if you guys have any tips on a PACHYCLADA, leave it down in the comments below. I would love to know, because if yours is like mine, maybe we can share some tips and tricks that will make them grow a little bit faster. The next plant I want to show you guys is my MELANOCHRYSUM. So this is my one leaf cutting that I originally got from a seller, and I chopped it up, and this is the leaf that it originally came with. So it's quite a big leaf. I know it's starting to kind of yellow and like get discolored. I had to propagate it. I had to chop it so many times. I chopped it twice here actually. So there's like 2 little stumps here if you can kind of see, but it's a little bit hard to see. But since chopping it twice, it finally grew out this tiny little baby leaf, which is so miniature that I don't even like know what went wrong here. But I know usually with the first new growth from a propagation, it's supposed to be small, but I don't think it's supposed to be this size. Like, look at this. It's like the size of my thumbnail versus this, which is the size of my, I don't know, like 3/4 of my palm. And it's just like very disproportionate. And then the next kind of leaf that it tried to grow out, the leaf died in its sheath, and now it's just like an empty node, which is like somewhere over here. I do see a new leaf kind of starting to pop out, but like it just keeps skipping nodes, or it pushes out runners, and I don't like that about this MELANOCHRYSUM. I don't know if it's the genes of this plant or it's just been cut too many times, but it's also rotted on me like twice now, and I don't know why this MELANOCHRYSUM is giving me so much trouble compared to my other MELANOCHRYSUM that I have. And although it's a little bit smaller, like the leaf itself is smaller, it grows really well, it propagates really well, and it just doesn't really give me any problems compared to this MELANOCHRYSUM. And I would say out of kind of all my aroids, this is probably my least favorite in terms of how finicky it is. It doesn't always listen to you, if you guys know what I mean. Next up I want to show you guys is my MANIPURENSIS, which is another Hoya that I want to show you. So this is how it's looking like right now. So it used to be a really full plant, and it's probably about half the size now, and it's so tiny. It has really cool leaves, which is why I was really drawn to this plant initially. So it has kind of that triangular shaped leaf, and it's really nice. But the thing with this is that half the plant, the leaves were turning yellow, and I thought it was because my grow lights were just too strong and just shining down on my plant too much. Not stressing the leaves, but just like discoloring the leaves. So that's what I thought was going on until it started to get more and more yellow. So when I checked the roots, I realized that there was a lot of rot going on. I don't know why, because previously I used to be able to propagate this plant very easily in soil, so it didn't even have roots and it would grow roots in soil. But in Leca, I think it just doesn't really like Leca that much, so it's still just trying to root itself and grow, but I don't think it's doing too hot, and I don't know if I could really save it or if it's just going to continue to decline. The leaves I currently have right now are still green, so I mean there's still that, like it's not like fully dead, but I'm really struggling with this one, and hopefully I will at some point figure it out. Next up, I want to show you guys is my CEBU Blue Pothos, which I know you guys know about my struggle with this one. So I recently just rotted this. I used to have such a big and beautiful CEBU Blue pot, and now it's just in this jar of water, and there's like probably half the leaves, and some of them are still kind of like yellowing. As you can see, like with that one, it's like literally like what green? I don't see any green, it's just yellow. But yeah, I mean, at least they're growing roots. So if you just like look through the glass container, you can see that there are roots growing, and I think it's almost time for me to pot it up because the roots are quite long. I would say like they're all over 2 inches long. So I think it's pretty safe to transfer this into Leca and hope that I do not rot it again. Hopefully it does okay. But yeah, that one is my CEBU Blue, and yeah, I was really struggling with it. It's starting to make its comeback, and hopefully by the time it's springtime and summer, it can push out some new beautiful leaves, and I don't have to worry about this plant anymore because it's been stressing me out so much. Okay, down to the last 2 plants. This one is my wonderful HOYA LACUNOSA Silver. So it used to be called the Silver Eskimo, but we are now calling it just the silver, and it is not a Coroniana, it is a lacunosa. So this is how it's looking like. I think that my plant actually looks very, very silver compared to other people's plant. I barely see any green. Like as you can see, there's like a little speck of green down there, but for the most part it's essentially like an all silver plant. It's finally grown 2 tiny little leaves. Like it's the start of it, so I can't even be 100% sure that these leaves will grow and like not fall off. I think that this one was flimsy for, I would say, at least like 6 months, and it is now finally rooted, number 1, and number 2, it's finally pushing out new growth. So I literally waited for over 6 months for this to finally get its shit together and do something. If you guys remember how big my plant used to be, I'm like honestly quite devastated that this is the size of my Hoya now. It used to be huge. It used to like trail like over the pot, and it was in like a 3-inch pot, and now it's in this like tiny little 2-inch container with like barely any leca in it. And I really like this plant still, even though it's not fuzzy, it's not veiny, it's just silver variegation. I don't have too many Hoyas with silver variegation, so it's kind of like a little bit unique to me and like a one-off in my collection. So I really do want to make sure that it continues to thrive. I mean, not continue to thrive, like start thriving, because it's like not doing hot right now. And I'll let you guys know if these 2 leaves actually turn into actual leaves or if they're just gonna fall off. But yeah, moving on to the last and final plant, it is my Hoya Memoria. I always forget the name of this because I don't know. It's just such a hard name to remember. But this is the Hoya Memoria. I got this from my friend through just like him being nice. So it wasn't through a trade, it was just like him gifting it to me. And the poor thing underwent like literally root rot 3 times, and it's still, you know, alive. Its one and only peduncle actually recently fell off, and I was really sad about it because I heard this Hoya really blooms like easily, but I now no longer have a peduncle, and I know like with Hoyas, old peduncles can actually flower again, so I had hope, and now I don't have hope. And I'm just hoping that it will like at least survive, because it rotted like 3 times, as I said, once in soil and then twice in Leca, and it's grown 2 leaves in my care somehow during the time that it was actually rooted, which was a very short period because it just rotted like literally right away. And yeah, I think this one is just like very sensitive to root rot. I didn't think it would be. I heard it was supposed to be somewhat easy, although I don't think it really is. So I don't think any of these like plants are really beginner friendly plants. If you're just starting to get into Hoyas, probably not these ones, or just like plants in general, maybe don't get these plants. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Comment down below if you're having any trouble with your plants, because that tends to happen with like a bunch of plant parents. Like maybe sometimes we get busy and like we forget our plans, and then something bad happens to them. So I hope that these will all kind of make a comeback and bounce back from literally brink of death. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.